Yes. And okay.
Greetings and welcome to another session of Diamond Roundtable. Yes, this is the brainchild of our brother here, Atiba Visions, as he's known on his Zoom name. And of course, he is the person responsible for Destination TNT and of course, this Diamond Roundtable platform, as well as a number of others. The idea is to bring us, people in the Caribbean, together to really strengthen and unify who we are, to look at opportunities for growth and development, to really sort of inspire each other to do for self. So this is the 9th episode, if we want to call it, or the 9th session of Diamond Roundtable. And our theme today is really, how do we develop our youth? So sort of through cultural tourism. So we've called it youth development through cultural tourism. It follows on from a lot of the discussions we've had in previous sessions, particularly last week, where we really focused on the aspect of cultural tourism. What is it? You know, what exactly are we talking about? So I wanted to start today's session by just giving you some facts about number 9, because last week, you know, we mentioned 8 facts about the Caribbean, and I thought it'd be interesting because the spiritual system that I practice, number 9 is a very special number. So today is our 9th session, and in numerology, 9 is considered a powerful and spiritual number with traits such as selflessness, humanitarianism, and compassion. It is believed to represent completion, spiritual enlightenment, and wisdom. So we're on number 9, and you can hear about this sort of things that in numerology, number 9 represents these sorts of things. In the Chinese culture, the number 9 is considered lucky and represents longevity and eternity. In Christianity, the number 9 is believed to be associated with the Holy Spirit and the 9 fruits of the Spirit. And it is mentioned apparently in Galatians 5:22-23, which I know nothing about this, but if anyone obviously is Christian or knows the Bible, number 9 pops up. In Hinduism, there are 9 planets in the solar system, and the Navangaraha, or 9 celestial bodies, are worshipped for their spiritual and astrological significance. And finally, in the Quran, there are 9 major signs that are believed to herald the end of the world, such as the appearance of the Antichrist and the Gog and Magog. So in summary, number 9 is a very powerful number. So I welcome you all to the 9th session of Diamond Roundtable. We are talking today about youth development using a cultural tourism model. So I'd like to hand over to our brother Atiba to just kind of kick us off, because of course Atiba is the one responsible for devising the titles, deciding what we're going to focus on. So sort of, where did this one come from, my brother?
Well, I was just looking at 1 or 2 people trying to get on right now, but they currently can't. I don't know why. But aside from that, greetings everyone. Big up to Isis for riding the wave with Diamond Roundtable. We're here on the 9th one, like she said, and it's been a beautiful journey so far. The reason why I chose this one is because if you followed the Diamond Roundtable from the first one, it's been a journey of growth. And recently I put together an under 18s football team for a football tournament where they came 3rd out of 9 teams. So I've currently basically got access to an under 18 football team. And obviously, because I'm pushing cultural tourism with what we're doing with the Caribbean Global Destinations, one of the best ways or best avenues, I think, to start off with that will be effective is with the young people and the youth. So obviously, probably looking at running some sort of youth development programs throughout the Caribbean. and stuff, and where we can get the football players, the under 18s, over across seas to other countries, and that would effectively open up doors for what we're doing here, and make the route a lot more easier.
Brilliant, thank you for that. So yeah, and congratulations for your team, the work you've done. And really, you know, we always try as much as possible to hear the voices of all of you people who've chosen to spend some time with us this evening. And so I'd really love to hear people's ideas. You know, how does this work? Is cultural tourism something that we can use to develop our young people across the Caribbean, and also in the Caribbean diaspora, and, you know, on the African continent? We're all one people. How can we develop our youth, give them opportunities, build structures for them, you know, make space for them really through cultural tourism? Would anyone like to chip in, take off their mic and be brave? Yes, Steve, my brother.
Hi. Yes, thank you for setting this up and then inviting us in. I think from the title, it was really interesting, because tourism as an industry is one thing, but actually visiting countries and stuff like that, and, you know, broadening your horizons, I think is something that's very important. And young people particularly need to do that. You know, I know there's lots of like rites of passage kind of talk, well, not even lots of, but there are some like rites of passage, you know, with with Davis, those guys there,
Manhood Academy, yeah.
Yes, and doing fantastic work, taking
Yes.
young people to Ghana and stuff, to Gambia and stuff, and I think that's really, really powerful. There needs to be more of that kind of thing, and that's what sprung to mind when I heard the title of this particular session. So my view on it is, Atiba knows me pretty well, and I'm part of an organization, and we within North London, we work with young people, and we're kind of coming out of the making ourselves a bit more public now. And this as a topic is something that definitely needs to be investigated and research done and tried, you know, as quickly as possible, because I think there are examples of it. Maybe it's a case of looking at those and highlighting them and learning from them and seeing how we can promote those kind of things. So I do think that taking young people to other countries and experiencing other cultures, and even in this country, you know, making those museum visits and having those discussions and bringing people from other cultures to meet each other, well, it can only help to make the world a bit of a better place, I think.
So you think that there could be a real benefit for young people to kind of, I mean, cultural tourism obviously involves exactly that, engaging with other cultures in a way in which is equitable and respectful, and not extractive, not appropriative, but actually shows, you know, respect for that culture. So do you actually think it would be beneficial to young people to be able to learn about other cultures in that way, using that kind of approach?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think the reason that we're having this topic is maybe because we believe, I'm Caribbean as well, and you know, I believe that our culture is very powerful and very beautiful. At the same time, to some degree, it needs redefinition in this modern time. And I think that the young people are calling for it or need it, yeah, whether they realize it or not. And it gives us the opportunity to do that through things like cultural tourism, you know, and education. I think it's a shortcut to educating someone if you can engage them and give them an experience, you know. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, have you ever had any experience directly of any sort of cultural tourism packages? Not necessarily for young people, but you know, even for anyone. Is it something you've ever sort of taken part in, or you know?
Well, only myself that, you know, whenever I go to a country, I don't tend to want to go where the tourists go. So I'll go
Right.
and
Yeah.
be local. So in that respect, maybe I want to eat what they eat. I want to learn the language and stuff like that. So to some degree, but that is part of my personal journey. But when I see it like actually organized, you know, I have to take my hat off, and that's the kind of thing that we should all really be supporting, you know.
Yeah, of course. Of course, that sounds yeah, that's what we're hoping. Thank you for that contribution. Yes, so my brother Steve, thank you so much for that. Is there anyone else who would like to get involved? We've got the Blue Heart, whose name I don't know, and the T, letter T, and of course we have Matthew, brother Matthew Hope Christmas. So would any of you care to contribute to the conversation? You heard what brother Steve said about the value of cultural tourism for young people. He spoke about his own experiences of just like going to another country and living amongst people rather than going into the touristy places, and how beneficial that is. So is there anyone else who would like to contribute? Every week I have to do this, to start calling people's names out, urging people to take off their microphones, urging people to speak. Okay, all right, we've got 2 more people reconnecting. Maybe there'll be somebody. Oh, right, okay. Who else has taken off their microphone? Although it's unfair to poor MG. Okay. Greetings, MG. Greetings, San. Would either of you like to contribute to the conversation? We've just been talking about the value of cultural tourism opportunities for young people for their development. You know, cultural tourism in the sense of really engaging with local people and their actual ways of being. T, you've taken off your mic. Did you want to contribute?
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings, sis.
I would really like to travel. I haven't kind of gotten round to it yet. Life has kind of gotten in the way, but no, I think it's really important, especially for our young people. You know, if you bend a tree when it's young,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What sort of things do you think that like we might see a benefit for young people, you know, from here, for example, if they travel to the Caribbean or to Africa?
Well, being of Caribbean descent, I think our issue in the Caribbean is that we don't really know our history. And I've always been searching, you know, digging in history during and after school, especially after school. I believe we're kind of lost, and Caribbean people, I don't feel like we will be able to go forward the way we need to without first going back, so we don't make the same mistakes. But yeah, there's a lot that I would like to see, especially in Africa. There's a lot of places in Africa I'd like to go all over Africa. That's all over the world, really. But Africa in particular.
Where would you go in Africa? Where would be the top 3 countries if you were going?
Ghana, Uganda, Ethiopia.
Oh, right. Okay. So East Africa, apart from Ghana. And why did you select those 3?
History.
Yeah, rich history.
Culture. Where the traditions are still alive.
Okay. And what about in the Caribbean, if you were going to choose 3 destinations?
First and foremost, Jamaica, because I ain't been back home.
Okay, number 1, Jamaica. JA number 1. What do you say? Sorry?
Bermuda.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Bermuda, like near the triangle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Trinidad because my love for play pan. So that definitely be a music holiday, preferably around carnival time.
Well, I'm definitely kind of biased on the Trini one, obviously, as a Trini kind of bias still. So yeah, that's a good selection. That's a good selection. What about Bermuda? What was it about there that you'd like to see? You got family there, or is it just?
Oh no, I don't. It's just like the history, like
yeah,
the reason why there is a kind of like how do I explain it? why technology just why people disappear over that way. And
yeah. Could you imagine if you had to take a group of young people on a tour, a cultural tourism tour, and you were selecting those 3 islands, Jamaica, Bermuda, and Trinidad and Tobago? Could you imagine yourself devising, putting together a tour? What kind of things you'd want
kind of
young people? Because
well,
I mean, I'm not young. I'm just wondering what kind of things would our young people want to see?
Scuba diving in the Bermuda area, get a real
that's brave though, isn't it?
Observation of a world. But I ain't taking no tech down there. I should be fine. What we do in Jamaica? Oh, in St. Anne's they have a there's a particular hot spring, natural hot spring that I can't remember what comes out of it, but basically it's like fire water. You can light the water on fire. It's beautiful.
Wow.
But it's healing at the same time. We'll definitely be flying past there. And Dunn's River, of course.
And I suppose they want to go and see Hope Road because everybody wants to see something to do with Bob Marley, don't they? So that's
go
definitely
down that way. We have to see his house as well.
So what about Trinidad? What have we got to offer in Trinidad?
Well, like I said, hopefully it'll be carnival time when we catch it. So it's all about the food, the music. Definitely the food.
Excellent, excellent. So we put together, you've done it right there, T. I don't know, what's your name, sister?
Tracina.
Tracina, okay. Cool. Yeah, you've put together a package there. You've done a cultural tourism package. Just like that. You see?
Just like that.
Just like that, sis. Give thanks for that. Would somebody else like to put together a cultural tourism package? You heard what the sister said. What do you reckon, Atiba? You're muted. You're muted.
Maybe I'll
hold on. Yeah, it's beautiful what she's saying. Scuba diving, natural hot spring, food and music. I feel like I'm in the Caribbean right now. So yeah, this is the energy. This is the beautiful energy of this place.
I think something around like
Yes.
science and research.
Science and research.
Like,
expand. Tell us a bit more.
Like, let's say like an expedition, taking young people out somewhere with a very definite scientific or historic like challenge, like they're going out there to say learn about the Dogon tribe, say for instance, or maybe a visit to the Caucasus Mountains and understanding their relevance in history and stuff, or going to China, say, and doing research on how their schools operate or something like that. That could be some things.
Yeah, and I wonder if what sort of programs, obviously, that they have at UWI, because you've got the JA campus, the Barbados campus, and the TNT campus. What sort of programs they have for young people as well, because there could be something to, I don't know, some sort of exchange or something like you say, where it could be research or something like that. It could be academic or community-based research, for example. Maybe if not academic research initially. I don't know, but that's a good idea. It's a really good idea. Would anyone else care to chip in, put together a cultural tourism package for young people, or to perhaps take on board what some of the sister Trisina or Brother Steve has said? Yes, my brother, you've taken off your microphone. Raspo.
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Blessed greetings to everyone.
Blessed to you too.
As usual, on this special occasion at the Diamond. Yeah, courtesy Atiba, you know the thing go. I was missing in action for a little while, but yeah, back here again and willing to contribute, small as it is. Yeah, concerning the youths, my perspective on it, as you were saying there, sister, that it must have some sort of initiative in place already, and as I always suggest, that we get the High Commission involved. There seemed to be a cultural affair department as well that I think we could invite certain members who dealing with this specific topic. They call them PAC. It's PACT. That's the organization that deals with cultural affairs, cultural tourism and affairs in the UK via the High Commission. So getting some of these people to come and divulge what is important and what is on the board at the moment and what is available, you know. And having the speculation obviously is okay, because it arises a lot of important topics. And dealing with the youths at the moment is imperative in Trinidad. And I think like getting youths to come to the UK to study as well, even so they could do their studies in UWI in Trinidad, concerning tourism. Because if we're doing this, we had to have some people certified as well. Even people on our meeting could volunteer to do a course. Yeah.
What sort of course?
A tourism course, obviously.
Oh, right, so it's an actual tourism course.
Yeah.
I mean, they do
tourism course or even aviation or something pertaining to that.
Well, I mean, aviation is a very complex course, and it happens over a number of years. Of course, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, again, a wonderful thing would be able to somehow to be able to raise funds to sponsor.
Exactly, but this is why we go into the authorities, because the authorities have monies allocated from budgets to deal with these issues, and they're not really. For me, I'm not benefiting anything from that, because it's not widespread. Because they can fund students to go to universities in London. That is part of their mission as being the High Commission in London, you know?
Yeah, it's very difficult to get, I know, and it's difficult to get grants. I remember when I was back home, and
I think they make it a bit too difficult for us to get grants for the wider population to be addressed, you know? It kind of narrow down to people with let me say people with total access and money or financial or so. It's not a wide prospect. Like if we want to bring some youth from the country area to learn something, like some university from Trinidad to come up. We have a group of 10 people that we support from our group being in universities up here, or even in Trinidad, as we say, because not everyone want to travel. There's a next thing as well, but they come in to strengthen the foundation at the destination. Yeah. So it's just an idea I come up with as well. So I just wanted to share that.
Good, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Sister Trisina, have I got that right?
Thank you. You kind of did. What I was gonna say is that it's funny you mentioned aviation. You're right, it does take a couple of years, but I have a friend who's already an active pilot. And I've been flying with him and I've been to the training place, and yeah, in a couple of years I'll definitely be flying.
Oh wow. So we've got a pilot on board then.
Yeah, future pilot.
I like the sound of that. Yeah, we definitely, brother's right, you know, we need all these skill sets. I mean, really, one of the things we must start thinking about is how do we, as people, you know, African Caribbean heritage, Caribbean heritage, sort of people in these groups, how do we make sure that we're aware? We kind of skill swap, you know, make sure everybody's aware of what other skills other people have, so that you can collaborate, so that you can pull together initiatives, or, you know, make recommendations, and that in that way also you're supporting each other. That's that building that kind of unity amongst people in the group. Yeah. So there are MG message to say that they are just chilling and listening, so all good, respect to that. Blue Heart, maybe, and San, neither of you have said anything. I don't know if you wanted to contribute. I'd be interested to know what your name is, Blue Heart. Okay. Right, I'm not going to press anybody then. So I'd probably just bounce it back to Atiba again and ask you just to pick up on what you've heard so far, and then we'll bounce it back out again. So we're moving forward in every section.
Yeah. Well, I'm alive, well, breathing fresh air. Even with the High Commission, as of recent, of Trinidad and Tobago, anyway, I've been actively getting I've been actively messaging our High Commissioner as of late. No full responses as of yet, but I've got him there on WhatsApp. So he's fully aware of what we've got going on. And even now, got the voices of the community think outside the box. Yeah, so the High Commissioner of our country is fully aware of what we've got going on, because I've been actively pressing him and messaging him.
Well, thank you for that. Keep pressing, keep messaging. Sometimes you have to keep banging on the door in order to open it. It's just sadly how these things go, because we are very bureaucratic as a nation, as indeed is this country, and that means things don't always go as quickly as we'd like. But yeah, we've got to keep doing that. So we are talking about youth development through the vehicle of cultural tourism. Some of the things we've spoken about is a wonderful tour that our sister created for us, which is a trip to Jamaica, Bermuda, and also to Trinidad and Tobago. We also spoke about looking at other ways of developing this model of tourism for young people. What else can we do? So yeah, any other suggestions? Any examples? We spoke last week about some examples of cultural tourism in different parts of the world, where you'd have a country, and what they did is they identified perhaps one of the most environmentally friendly, sustainable, kind of like local grassroots type of thing that country had to offer, and built it into a package. So whether it was a reef with particular type of sea life, or it could be a rainforest, or it could be a particular river or something, an eco project like I've seen in the Gambia, you know. So yeah, has anybody got any suggestions, any ideas? Would they like to maybe find out more? Or have you got?
Well, for me, I putting up my hand again. For me, it's always a funding and an inclusion from the government to improve situations. Yeah, for me, like for facilities and like football grounds and all these things. I think if we encourage developing our communities through the facilities, especially sporting facilities, because you don't want to leave England and go and play in a football field where with a pothole for people to break the foot. Yeah, so you want to encourage the development of these facilities. There's a lot of facilities in England. I observe a lot of parks giving people the opportunity to go.
But my brother, sorry, can I just interrupt you there? So that's actually, I mean, this is where, again, in all of that we discussed, there is this whole, kind of inequity that exists in the world. It's a global inequitable situation. So you've identified the fact that back home, we just have pothole in the pitch and you could break your foot.
Not all, but there is.
No, but we
talking
do.
About those that need urgent attention.
But over here, we have better quality pitches and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to encourage cultural tourism back home to the Caribbean, how is that going to benefit it? Because actually that's like, you see what I'm saying? Because we want
I just watch things broad too, it does sound like it's not relevant, but I watch things broad.
Right.
Because as we speak of getting more people into sports, how do you get more people into sports? You have to have facilities for it to go to. You have to have these things to encourage people to come. And this is where ideas be coming from. We have a lot of ideas, but if we don't get the relevant authorities involved and have them come in and we want to just hear, we want to just send no letter, we want to have them come in. You understand? If there's anything, we probably make an appointment and go to the office. Yeah, let's make an appointment. We sitting in groups. No one says nothing, and we have a group with like 200 people, and people don't even say morning. So this is the thing we need to develop before we can see any kind of development here. Because you really notice we're supposed to have at least 40 people on this video call. That is my perspective. If we're really looking at support, and a lot of people just talking and saying down in group, and they ain't really putting an effort. That is why they say, no, let me put a £5. So when someone put £5, they have an interest in something, yeah? You're not just sitting down and saying, oh, why we doing this? No, it's for the benefit of our country as well. It's not just for the benefit of people in the group. It's for the benefit of our country. So when we develop the facilities, we encourage youths to play football. We encourage more competitions, and they will travel. So all this is part of development. That is how I see it.
Do you think there are some ways that we could start some of that without a large injection of money? I mean, for example, do you think there's strategies that we could use that are maybe sustainable or environmentally friendly to start, building up and developing the pitches, a standard of the quality, for example, back home, or some of the spaces to make it more accessible and inviting to
definitely, because there's a lot of self-help programs. There's a lot of self-help programs that we could initiate, and it doesn't have to take money. Nothing is really money, it's just cooperation and knowing the right information and going to the relevant authorities. I do some things back home that I thought I could have never achieved. Yeah, just by even speaking. Sometimes it might sound foolish to the unattainable ears, or you understand? It might sound foolish, but when you sit and think about things, you have to build from underneath, and you building together. Yeah. So we have the plan of being let's say a travel agent. So yes, so we have big scopes. The scopes is to facilitate. If we don't have places to go, where are we going? If we don't have security, where are we going? We need to know all these things are dealt with, and this have to be coming from the government as well, because they have agencies in place to deal with these issues and make sure that people are safe. But
you're really looking at infrastructure.
Exactly. A lot of these things are laying dormant in Trinidad, and not only in Trinidad. That is a normal thing with governments. Once they realize you don't know, they're going to go through their process and take all that excess money. You know, they mightn't take it, but it's not accounted for. Yeah, because when our budget come out, we have money for certain things. So why they then putting it into sports? Like, you know, so
so that's a question. That's a question we need to be asking. Why are they not investing enough in these sorts of
things? But there's what we want. There's what we want. We don't just want a thing and hear all you're saying this and that and certain people benefiting. Our people not benefiting. Yeah. So we want to ensure, because this is what you say, not what we say. We want you to do what you say you're going to do. And this is where democracy come in and cooperation, you know. And they would never disagree. Yeah, they would never disagree. That is how governments are. Once you
this is definitely one of the tactics we can employ, thinking about how we engage with governments, etc.
Yeah, you have to.
But I'm just aware, sister, you've got your camera on, MG, and I was just wondering if you wanted to come in and contribute to the conversation.
Good evening, everyone. I've just been listening with half an ear, really, because I've been doing the bedtime routine here with my boys. That's all.
All right.
So I haven't really. I've picked up a bit of the conversation in terms of like what can we do for the youngsters.
It was talking about youth development using cultural tourism as the way to do it. Like so like we're thinking about how can we, you know, develop things back home really, and what we can do to kind of make that connection between our youth here, our youth back home, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, I guess I think we speak about youths as one homogenous group, but we have to remember that different youths, they're going to have different interests, aren't they? So I think it's not just about doing one set of things. You have to do a broad range of things and hope you'll catch, like, someone's interested in that, there's going to be a program for that. Someone's interested in something else, there's going to be a program for that. So it just all depends on where their interest lies. My boys are quite sporty. They like sports. So maybe it's about having a program for, because the one thing that I have thought about actually is, if they were to take their sports to the next level and take it seriously, they're most likely play for England. Having said that, there's nothing wrong because they're born here, but it would be nice if they could maybe play for their country, like my background. So maybe play for Guyana or play for Jamaica, you know, but then it's about building up those teams as well.
Exactly, because that's the issue, isn't it? I mean, a lot if you look at for example, I mean, I'm not a sports person, but if you look at the football teams in this country, and indeed across Europe, a large percentage of the players are actually of heritage that comes from the African continent, Caribbean, and of course, places like South America, etc. And yet they're playing for these European teams. But those teams, the countries that they come from, do not have the financial stability that the European teams have. So that's a really good point that you raised as well.
Exactly. So that's just my 2 cents.
No, that's a really good point. I mean, do you think that, like, for example, you have sporty boys, but do you think that, say, for example, there was a cultural tourism package that would take them to Guyana, and they would, or Jamaica, and they get to go to the mountains and do some climbing and see, I don't know, do some, you know, I don't know if you know, they call it twitching, looking at birds. You know, we have very spectacular birds in Jamaica, in Guyana, or I don't know, hunting for some sorts of animals or something. Do you think they might be interested in something like that?
I don't know. It's it's hard to say. They haven't had access to that sort of thing. So not today anyway. So whether they would like it or not, I don't know. But what I would say to them is, if there was a package like that, maybe for them to just try it once and see if it is something that they could develop an interest in.
Or maybe what about if it was something where they would go and, I don't know, learn music? Like, I don't know, go to Jamaica and spend time working on a, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know, Trinidad learning the pan or something.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to do music. I did ask them that before. They definitely don't want to do that. Yeah. But I would love to learn the pan.
Right. So there you go. I would love to see rainforests in Guyana, for example.
Okay.
I think that would be spectacular. I know somebody who did. So, you know, I do think that if we were to think about all the islands and the mainland areas that constitute the Caribbean, then I imagine there's something for everyone. I can't imagine there isn't. For everyone who likes hot stuff, obviously, if you like freezing cold snow, then you can't to the wrong place. But, you know, anyone who likes that, the temperatures, the climate that we have, there's got to be something for everyone.
Definitely, I agree.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your contribution. Tracina, your hand is up. Is that a legacy hand, or is that did you put it up?
Oh no, I wanted to say something.
Good. Come in.
What I was thinking is, with the 6 month, we globally we have summer break, right? And Atiba, you've got the football team, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, in terms of talking about, you know, culture and the youths and all of that, it wouldn't be that difficult to, even if it's not that you're, well, if you, whether you made another small younger team or took that particular team like as a prototype to, let's say, any Caribbean island, right? And you went to an orphanage close by, right? And we say we're spending a week, we gather up the kids, they train, we train. So they're getting that training as well. So that information is being passed on. You understand? Plus, the youths will see what life is like for them back home, you see me? So yeah, that could be a good kind of starting block, if you understand where I'm trying to go with it.
That's a great idea. That's exactly what cultural tourism is all about. It's exactly that, about giving people an opportunity to see the lived reality for others.
So like that, the last week of like football camp would be abroad. You see me?
Yeah, well, you go and build something.
Yeah. They
get together and they will build a storage room or whatever. I don't know, like
if we do it properly, we can. If we do it properly, we can organize ourselves and send like 1-2 barrels just about ahead of us. So when we reach there, we can hand it out to the orphanage and things. So it's a whole proper experience for both sides, if you understand what I mean. That would be also giving back to our people.
Yeah, I mean, a brother of mine was supporting some people in the Gambia, and one of the things they did is he got people to go out there and like build a community center out there. So, you know, and the thing is, you know, in the parts of the Caribbean, we don't really have the restrictions. Like, you don't have to go through all these things for planning permission and all these sorts of things. So you can actually build something for the community quite easily.
This is the reason why I'm starting my plumbing thing now, because the funds that will open up to me, I plan to buy land all over the world and build.
Well, that's exactly it.
That will last generations. That generation of our people will benefit from.
Most definitely. And the more things we build, the more control we have. Because if we can do that for self, that's amazing.
The way I'm gonna do my thing is, my first port of call when I start building whichever country it is like the youth. Orphanages is my first port of call, because they're the least fortunate on the island. In terms of youth, they're the least fortunate. They're the ones that need the most help.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's a lot I know, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I know it's certainly in Trinidad, especially in Port of Spain, where I know there's a lot of, the children who are in orphanages or who have got
doing the best with the liquor that they have, you see me?
Yeah, they definitely need support. So that's a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea. I love that. Brother Matthew, Ras Hope, your hand is up.
Yeah, what I just wanted to add is as a sensor, we could do a sensor, what do you think? Let's organize a sensor, have a list of activities and probably go around a few train stations and ask people what they would like if they go on a holiday in the Caribbean, and it might be this year, it could be next year, but we could do that to have a more public consensus.
So you're talking about, a survey, like a questionnaire?
Yeah, a survey
can be done.
Through the group, we formulate some questions of activities, what people would like to do. If you want to go and visit turtles, if you would like to go to the river, if you want to go hiking, a lot of activities. And some people might give you a brief update, and when we come together now, we see, all right, surfing have more people, or going to the turtles have more people, and we make something out of that and make a trip.
I think a good example would be like if I do up, let's say for instance, if I do up a questionnaire, right, and I was just keep it simple. What would be your dream boot camp? And then just write a list. You get me? And then I will go around speak to the head teachers of my area, and you say you know what, I'm trying to start up a little business. Can you just hand these out in class? Because I'm trying to get a survey, because it's kids, innit? I need to know where the kids' head is at, what they like, because it's for them, innit? So yeah, I think that would be kind of you'd kind of get buckets like this, and I could just tally. I've got time. I could just tally.
Yes,
kids in this area seem to like this more. Girls seem to like this more. Boys seem to like this more.
True.
That's always good. I mean, quantitative research is a really good way to evidence what you're doing. So
and I'm trying to keep it out of the social media, if you understand what I mean. Pen and paper, people. Pen and paper is good. So
this has come up before.
A T-bar, I'll draft it and run it by you first.
There you go.
So for your product research, innit?
Yeah. I've now added you in the Diamond Round
that.
Table.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and whoever we have in the Diamond Round Table group, please share some comments when you all have time, Share some comments that on your mind, so we could have a little time to do some research before the next meeting,
Can I just say before we close that this whole, I think what's very important for the youths as well is that they must learn how to cook, whether it's a little boy or a little girl. And this whole traveling thing is a very good door to be like, yo, we gonna do some cooking, you see me?
And sorry, who's gonna teach them to cook?
No, I'm saying I think
it's a great idea. No, I love the idea. I want to run with this. I want to take
when
this
we're
to the next
preparing
stage now.
When we're preparing, what we'll do is that I'll get in touch with local restaurants, innit? You get me? And make them do a little taster thing for the kids, them, you get me?
Yeah, that's great. But who's going to teach the youth to cook?
Yeah.
So I want to know, are you a good cook? Are you volunteering to do some teaching?
I am a Black woman and a mother at that. Of course I am. I'm an excellent chef. What? Plates to get licked.
No, I'm definitely not an excellent chef. My daughters would say that. So
I'm excellent. When I go see my mom's like, what are we having for dinner? I'm looking at her, but I'm at your house. What are you cooking me for dinner?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm like with my youngest daughter. I expect her to cook for me.
She's like, I ain't cooking.
Yeah, I think that is needed in London.
Yeah, definitely.
Cooking and keeping the house clean. for the youth.
Exactly, because this whole I don't cook, I don't clean, don't run in a black household. No.
Well, the I don't clean business is another story. The I don't clean, I don't think that can run at all. That's definitely on another level. The I don't cook, you might be able to get away with it if you've got someone else to cook for you. Okay, so we've got a program maybe where actually part of what we could have is that the youths will be taught how to cook a meal, maybe a traditional meal from the place where they go. So if it's Jamaica, definitely. I don't know, whatever. I'm not Jamaican. What's a Jamaican meal that would be really, I suppose, brown stew or something?
Yeah, brown stew. Oh, yeah.
Ackee and saltfish, or ackee without saltfish. If you're plant-based like me.
Fire for the ackee.
Trinidad, maybe somebody teach you how to make a roti or bus up shut or even just a double.
We know how to do a roti still.
Pilau might be too much hard work. Maybe just teach them to make a doubles.
Doubles, I can't make doubles. I talking about pilau. That more general. I think a pilau.
Okay, so pilau. And then if they were going to Guyana, what pepper pot.
Pepper pot. It has to be pepper pot. That's the national dish.
Yeah. So that again would be.
That we want.
So exactly. So see, something like that again is a wonderful idea. It's a beautiful idea for a cultural package, because these youths that apparently allegedly can't cook.
Yeah. Too much
then they go to the Caribbean, to where their heritage comes from, and the heritage, if not even from them, maybe their heritage of their friends from school, the people they've grown up with, and they learn to cook those meals. It means when they come back to England, they can actually cook Caribbean food.
Can you imagine we take a group of youths and bring them back? They come back different youths.
Yeah, actually proper Caribbean
tonight.
Food.
I need this, and this.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You watch me tonight.
Imagine how happy their parents will be when they all come back and they have to sit down and cook meals for their parents and everything. I see you're smiling, sis. So look, we've got about 5 minutes left before the end of this session, the 9th session, a very special number in numerology, number 9. In many faiths, it's a very special number.
Completion.
And it's been a very special gathering. There's 9 people at the moment on this gathering. I don't know if you realize the number 9 is bringing energies, bringing positivity, it's bringing connectedness. Yes, so perhaps each of you want to make a contribution to we've got Trini Macon Chris. That's an interesting name. You combine Trinidadian and Jamaican. You haven't said anything, but your camera's on, brother. Did you want to make a comment? Because I know we're coming to a close. Might be good to hear from you. I don't know. Are you driving?
Yeah, I'm driving in a minute. I just literally come out from football, but I wanted to spin in. I was just listening to the conversation, and you lot got me hungry talking about food.
All right.
You lot got me hungry now.
So what dish?
I only just caught the last bit. I heard my sister there saying that she can cook up a storm. Cook real good.
Yo, I don't think I should cook for a man, because I'll break up a household. That's how good my cooking is. You get me?
But maybe I don't know. Sorry, I find that Chris Trini Jamaican. I imagine that's what it's meant to be, but it's come out as Trini Macon.
That is correct.
If you wanted, if you were like that minded, that youth were going on some kind of journey, a cultural tourism package, and they had to learn a meal to cook as part of that package, what would you reckon that should be then?
What I reckon it should be.
Yeah.
Are you talking just for myself? Or am I speaking for just myself,
for a young
am I
person,
speaking in general?
For a young person who's taking part in a cultural tourism tour. So part of it is obviously to learn about the food of the Caribbean. So they've gone to Jamaica, they've gone to Guyana, and they've gone to Trinidad. What would they what should they learn to cook?
If you've gone to them places, roti, man.
Roti. Okay.
Yeah, man. You have to put roti. Oh, there you go. And my daughter says curry chicken as well.
Curry chicken, yes. Okay, so curry chicken and roti. Yeah. Right, so they're cooking curry chicken, roti, pepper pot. They're cooking pilau. They're cooking shot. So by the time they come back to London, they've come back an accomplished Caribbean chef.
What? They're coming back trained.
Their parents are going to be really happy. That I tell you what, if they could come back cooking those meals, that is them sorted.
They'll be
They're
like,
not
yo,
gonna
are
starve
they doing the
again.
next boot camp next year?
Yeah, that is some serious skills. They can make a business out of that. They might be able to make a living as well.
Mm.
So look, I want to thank you all for coming and spending time with us this evening. Diamond Round Table number 9 session. We're going into double figures next time. And we've been talking about youth development through cultural tourism. We've got some absolutely brilliant ideas, some brilliant ideas, some great suggestions of things that we can do to build cultural tourism packages that will help develop our young people in the Caribbean and, you know, our young people of Caribbean heritage who are over here as well. So I want to hand over to my brother, Atiba, who is obviously the man behind this whole thing. And I just want to say, give thanks. And I look forward to seeing people again next week, which will be the 10th session. Peace.
Yeah, so thank you very much again, everyone, for coming. Big up again, Isis, for delivering a great Diamond Roundtable. The comments today were beautiful. I've put everybody inside of everybody in here is inside of the group chat now. So yeah, just keep engaging. Like I said as well, Matthew, I've been messaging that High Commissioner, our new High Commissioner. I've been messaging him. So like, what's this called? Like, he knows about things like this Diamond Roundtable and stuff, and voices of the community. So he knows what's happening. So yeah, they can't. What's it called? This is not unnoticed to certain eyeballs and stuff. But yeah, blessings everyone, and yeah, just stay communicating on the WhatsApp group. One last